Once again, our mother came in town for what always seems to be an overstaying welcome. She buys a one-way travel ticket and only returns when she overstays her welcome. Her children were all grown and had children of their own now. None of her children seem to want her to stay with them when she comes to town to visit. I always seem to get stuck with her at my home. And when she comes to visit and stays with me, she thinks it's okay to have a bunch of people in my home without my consent. Sometimes I will get off work and come home to a stranger in my home. I let her know that having strangers come into my home is not okay with me. She tells people that I think I am better than them just because I do not want strangers in my home. I hardly ever sit around in my living room, and when she comes into town, she has people in my living room smoking and drinking. Her company would come over and stay for hours. Because I love to cook, I would cook almost every day. So, she would expect me to feed her company. No one was giving me money to feed these extra mouths. Plus, she had people over almost every day. What I did not know was our mother had a pending lawsuit from an injury from an old job when she used to live here, and they were getting ready to settle the lawsuit. So really, she came into town to wait out her settlement. She did not give me this info. One of her friends let it slip out one evening. My mother shot her friend a look when she mentioned it, and I heard the comment and saw the look. But while she was here waiting for her secret settlement, she was running up my electricity bill with the air conditioning running on high all day, every day. I had a discussion with her about my electric bill, and she sort of dismissed it. So after her staying with me for a month, I got my electric bill, and it was over $400. Usually, during the summer months, it is usually under $200 because no one is at home during the day. So, with her being in my home all day entertaining her friends, she was also running up my electricity bill without any concern to how it was going to get paid. I have always set myself on a budget, and I always kept my monthly bills as an auto payment. So now my auto payment is going to be taking an additional $200 plus out of my bank account. When I mentioned this to her, she stated that I was working, so what is the problem? She stated that I should have enough money in the bank to pay the bill. In the meantime, she was continuing to run up my air conditioning on high all day, every day. And she was complaining to her friends that I was being picky and how I did not want them over. But while staying in my home, she did not change her ways. One day, I came home from work and found multiple people in my home. When I walked through the door, my mother was allowing my 3-year-old nephew to eat a slice of watermelon in my living room. I nearly blew a gasket. I told everyone to please leave my home and to stop coming over. I explained how I have always had a quiet home and how I never entertain in my living room. And now every day I walk in my door, there are multiple people eating, drinking, and smoking in the living room that I hardly ever sat in myself. I stated that my air conditioning bill is being ran up and how I am being left to pay for the increased bill amount. I walked out of the room, and when I returned almost 30 minutes later, everyone was gone. Even my mother was gone. She came back a few hours later and did not say a word to me. Well, the next month came and my air conditioning bill was over $500. When I showed the bill to my mother, she just glanced at it and said nothing. I stated that since she has been here, she has been running up my bills and leaving me stuck with paying for them. Well, she stayed for one more month before she finally got her lawsuit settlement. She showed me the check, and it was a little over $32,000. She had to open a bank account and deposit the check until it cleared. So, after a few days when the check cleared, she was out and about spending her money. Per my siblings, she went over to their homes and gave them several $100s each. She never offered me a dime. Even after she was into her third month of running up my bills, she never offered to repay me for any of the increased expenses that she incurred. She did not even offer to give me money for food. One day she went out and bought a few groceries. This was the only time she bought groceries since she has been staying here. She went to bingo every day and night. Now I would only see her late in the evenings. When she had no money, her friends were over to my home, running up my electricity and eating up my food. She now was spending all of her days and evenings at her friends' homes. Well, about 2 weeks after she got her money, she asked me to take her somewhere. Once we were on our way back, she told me to stop at the gas station and she was going to put some gas in my car. My gas tank was about half empty. To put it back on full, it came to about $11. She gave me a $20 bill and told me to keep the change. So this $20 is all she gave me for the last several months of staying with me, even after she received over $32,000 in her lawsuit settlement. My mother stayed with me for about 2 more weeks. Then one day she bought a one-way travel ticket to go back to the city where she was living. From the time my mother arrived to the time she left to go back, I had an increase in my electric bill for the several months that she stayed with me at a total of $1,173. She never did offer to pay me back 1 cent for running up my electricity bills. Also, after she left, I had to pay to have my upholstery cleaned and my carpet cleaned. Once my mother got back to her city, I informed her that for her next visits here, she was not allowed to stay with me any longer. She was going to have to plan to stay with one of her other children. Miss V, how can a mother be so jealous and disrespectful to my home and not see that she was wrong with running up my bills and leaving me to pay for them? Your mother arrived and ran up your bills and overstayed her welcome by several months. For her to receive a money settlement and not offer to pay for the increase of expenses that she and her friends were running up is just selfish. Informing your mother that she was no longer allowed to stay with you was a good move, because she would have treated you like that every chance she could. If you are enjoying my videos, please click on the like and subscribe buttons.